Good morning. It's Sunday, the 10th of February. Another session of writing this morning. It's going okay, but it's challenging. Part of it's challenging because I'm not waking up as well as I have been. Had a little bit of a later night last night after a fairly late night the previous night after having 2 days of travel, which has thrown me out of good morning. Well, I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm waking up at 6 instead of 5:30, but then I'm finding it a little hard to get straight into the rhythm of writing. So then it's like 6:30 by the time I start, and then you know it's just not necessarily the big expanse of time that I like of a morning. I'm still getting in a good. I mean, it's 8:30 now, so I've had 2 hours of this with a little bit of breakfast thrown in, but so really not too many complaints. But I just feel that I need to get up earlier in order to feel the full expanse of time to write in. But that uh, goal aside, which is, I'm going to be doing a little more travel for the next 2 days, so there will be, I'm going to have to manage it as best I can. Although there'll be train travel, which means writing time, so that's all good. Um, but really, the main challenge is the challenge that I spoke about yesterday, which is how to reappropriate and reuse the writing that I had for beach surgery in this new style of doing it. And, it's going well. And I've just, in the past couple of minutes, had a good idea of how it can get even better. Um, and I kind of had to set things up at the start to know how I might be able to do that a bit better going forward. I think it's going to be one of the sections that I do probably need to rewrite more than some of the other sections after I've finished it, because I'm not going to know the sense of pacing and content covered until I get to the end. And I think one of the things that, I just accidentally had this happen, is there was some content from the previous monologue that just found its way into the third that connected it better to the other section, so it's not so different from the other section, from the other two monologues that I've written so far. Um, I'm liking it, but it's also the first time in the book where I've thought, is this as good as I can be? In terms of, is this as good as I can make the book? The first two monologues, I'm really happy with. This third one, I'm not convinced yet. And part of it, I think maybe the part of it that's going to make me feel better about it is that it's tricky to feel good about it because I already know how I feel about the previous iteration of it. And I so like, I have so much, um, I have so many fond feelings for some of the prose that I had written, and my understanding of the pacing of what I did in the first version. But I also know where it doesn't hit the mark because of some of those same things. It is just a bit too traditional and a bit too descriptive in a way that I'm trying to avoid. And yet I'm trying to pull some of those things that I do have fondness for into this new way of doing things. But the reason I'm doing this new way is to avoid the pitfalls of what those things I was fond for have caused within the first. So that's where the rewriting is going to come in, because I need to give up on the things that I had fondness for that have caused it problems by taking the actual heart of the story, which is the narrative and the outline of the story, and I need to be able to use that in this third monologue, and I need to be able to write that into the style of what I'm doing, rather than transplanting things that I like but are the reason that I gave up on the first version of the novel in the first place. Um, and that's a lesson that I need to learn. I'll say it again, it's the reason that I'm going to have to rewrite this section just so I can get to the heart of that. And it's necessary for me to articulate it out loud like this so that I can further realize it for when I get back into the writing of it, and can help it maintain that aesthetic. I'm encouraged by the next component. I think I'm going to be able to try and really pull it off in that section. Um, the first two components might be forgivable in the amount of in how much of the original has been transplanted into this version, as long as from here in I can really start to stretch it and use it in different ways. But we'll see. I mean, part of the joy, maybe not joy, part of what fills me with positivity, with positive feelings, is that it is new. It's a new experiment and a way of writing that I haven't seen anywhere else. That feels great to be doing something like that. The reason, I mean, even though I've never seen a plot like the original Beach Surgery that I had written, and it was in its own way quite a unique story, I'm just trying to do something new and good, and it's hard, to know how that's going to turn out when there's no previous versions of this that I can see, at least from what I've been exposed to. There may very well be versions of this out there that I just haven't read, but anyway, that's probably enough for the morning. I'm going to go for a nice walk now and do some thinking, um, and then I'll come back and do some more on this tomorrow on an early train trip. So have a good day, and I hope you enjoy your Sunday, Craig.